So today we're going to look at public administration, by extension, civil service, right? We're going to describe the civil service, identify its features, list its functions, and then discuss the structure of the civil service. Now, have you noticed that if you go to Alausa, Ikeja, I've not been to Aso Rock Villa, and I've been there once, but not sure. But if you go to Alausa, you see series of offices all over the place, right? You would see the ones in charge of the land, you will see the one in charge of education, or different spheres of the society, occupations, or whatsoever that happens in the society are represented at Alausa. See, the civil service is the agency, government agency that works with elected government officials. See, the elected government officials can come and go, but the civil service will always remain because the government needs them. Without them, the government is useless, right? They are the ones, when we get to the topic, you get to understand it better. Nobody blows their trumpet. They stay behind the scene and they churn out all the works that you will see the government lay claim to. For example, if you see someone talking about Lagos State, let's say Lagos State waterways, Lagos State roads, Lagos State blah, blah, blah. It's the civil service that is doing those research, producing those figures, and then they hand over to him and he receives all the praise as being very, very astute and knowing exactly what he's doing. But those things he's doing, without the civil service, he can't pull those strings. So let's go on. So it's the agency of government through which laws, policies, programs are implemented. They are the government agencies that are actually charged with the implementation of laws and policies. You know, we say the function of the executive is to implement laws, right? Good. It is the civil service that actually does it. It's under the executive, right? It's a group of persons employed in government ministries and departments on permanent basis, and they are charged with the execution of government policies. Right? So let's get to know this. Now, what are the features? Number one, they are professionals. They are experts in their chosen fields, right? You will meet doctors there, you will meet lawyers there, you will meet people in different fields that work with the government. Anonymity, they are anonymous. Their job is to do their job without publicity. It is the government, the president or the state governor who receives all this anonymity, public accolade. Oh, the government is doing well. Sanwo-Olu's government is doing well. Basically, it's the civil service that's doing well. So they cannot be blamed or praised in the performance of their duties. As everything is done in the name of the minister or commissioner in charge, right? So impartiality, I guess, not impact. I think should be impartiality. The civil service are expected to be impartial. They must be fair. They must get their jobs done, right? They are expected to serve any regime credibly, and must not allow their private views to influence their judgments or their duties as well. So they are meant to be impartial. They are meant to be politically neutral. They don't take sides. They don't belong to political parties or any party, right? They are politically neutral. They are in the middle. They won't support party A or party B. They just stand in the middle. Now, bureaucracy. The civil service is bureaucratic. That means there are established procedures and norms that must be used so that there will be smooth running of the organization, right? So this bureaucracy can be hierarchical, rationally, it could be hierarchical, rationality, it could depend on skill and ability, right? So there is a laid down procedure for this bureaucracy to follow. Sometimes people argue that it slows down the decision-making process in the civil service, but that is the way it is meant to be for orderliness and efficiency, right? There is bureaucracy. So job security, the civil servants, that jobs are secure and it's permanent. They have no fear of losing their job. Governments come and go, but they remain there. So political environment, the civil service operates under political environments. The ministers or commissioners are in charge of their ministries, right? The minister or commissioner are answerable to the chief executive, either the president or the state governor, while the workers are answerable to the ministers or the commissioners. So they are working under a given political environment. Now, what are the functions of the civil service? They draft bill. The bill that the president submits to the lawmaking house is drafted by the civil service. They formulate policies for the government in power. They formulate it and hand it over to the executive, to the head. They also keep records of government decisions. It is their duties to keep information in files, records, etc. They execute government policies and programs, right? They map out strategies for the execution of these policies. So they also explain these policies to the public. So they are the government mouthpiece. So the civil service prepares and answers to the parliament, right? Whenever a minister or commissioner is invited for question in the parliament, it is usually to develop top management and professionals in the ministry. That it is usually the top management and professionals in the ministry, that means the members of the civil service, who provides all the answers the ministers and the commissioners are going to answer. So whenever you hear that the lawmaking arm is summoning a given minister to the lawmaking assembly, they prepare, the civil service prepare everything that is going to be asked and give it to the minister or the commissioner, who goes in prepared to tackle these questions. So they are very, that's why they have experts in that field. So they are the ones in charge of the budget. The estimate of the budget is done by them. They also make bylaws, they make rules and regulations through delegated legislation. Remember, they are not a lawmaking organ. Rather, they have been given the power by the legislature to make certain laws. We call those laws bylaws, right? They also perform quasi-judicial functions, right? I mean, some functions they perform is related to, looks like the work of the judiciary, but they do it. They also decide some cases and also punish some offenders. That's what we call quasi-judicial functions, because it is the function of the judiciary to look into cases and then punish offenders. Now, what are the structures of the civil service? We have the administrative class. This is regarded as the highest class in the civil service, made up of the Director General, Deputy Director General, etc. They mainly conduct the affairs of the ministry and also advise the relevant ministers and commissioners in their ministry. So they are the highest in the civil service class. We also have the professional class. This class are made up of trained experts in their field, like lawyers, like doctors, whatever it is, trained experts in their field. We have the executive class. They are in charge of handling the day-to-day affairs of the civil service. We have the clerical class. They perform routine functions in the civil service, like managing files, keeping records, etc. And we have the lowest class, which is the auxiliary or messengerial class. This class requires little or no sort of formal education. They can be gardeners, they can be drivers, they can be messengers, etc. Right? So if you take a look at this subject, we've covered a lot here. So try as much as possible to go through this video again and again. Explain the term civil service, identify its features, list its functions, and outline the structures of the civil service. If you have any question or clarification, I'm going to meet you in the comment section, right?